The Office of the Ombudsman officially restricts public access to official statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth, or SALN. In a memorandum circular uploaded on Tuesday, September 15, access to SALNs will only be given to the official or a duly authorized representative, a requester acting on a court order in relation to a pending case, or the Office of the Ombudsman's Field Investigation Office for the purpose of conducting fact-finding investigation. The new rule now covers the 2019 SALNs of public officials filed last August 30. In past years, the Office of the Ombudsman granted the media access to the SALNs of the officials under their jurisdiction: presidents, vice presidents, heads of constitutional bodies. But Ombudsman Samuel Martires stopped giving media access to these SALNs since last year. His new circular just made it official. Now, access to SALNs depends on the willingness of officials to grant it. In related news, sources confirm the Supreme Court en banc on Tuesday, September 15, unanimously denies a request to obtain the SALN of Associate Justice Marvic Leonen. The same sources say the request came from notorious lawyer Larry Gadon and the Office of the Solicitor General to support a potential filing of a quo warranto petition against Leonen. Leonen is the third most senior justice of the court and is a consistent dissenter in the bench. This request by the OSG highlights the office's interest in running after perceived critics of the Duterte government. Senate President Tito Sotto says he was dumbfounded the Justice Department spared Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and former PhilHealth legal chief Rodolfo del Rosario Jr. in a probe into alleged corruption in the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation. The DOJ task force found the ultimate sin of the officials was negligence. It recommends criminal complaints against the following PhilHealth officials. Duque, as Health Secretary, is the chairperson of the PhilHealth Board of Directors. Sotto says Tuesday, September 15, the board governs PhilHealth. They disbursed 14.8 billion pesos in 3 pandemic months illegally. The Department of Health Secretary is unmistakably and irreplaceably the chair of PhilHealth. He had no involvement. Why, congratulations, billions. President Rodrigo Duterte meantime approves the filing of charges against the officials from the Justice Department's list. The investigations come after PhilHealth's former anti-fraud officer claimed there was 15 billion pesos misspent and stolen by the state insurers' executives. Water rates in Metro Manila are set to go down starting October 1. This comes as the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System, or MWSS, approves a downward adjustment for Manila Water Services and Manila Water for the fourth quarter of 2020. Manila Water is allowed to lower rates by 0.15 pesos per cubic meter, while Maynilad is allowed to lower rates by 0.99 pesos per cubic meter. Manila Water provides services to the East Zone, which includes Makati, Mandaluyong, Pasig, San Juan, Taguig, Manila, and parts of Quezon City, Pateros, and Rizal. Maynilad meantime covers the West Zone, particularly Caloocan, Pasay, Parañaque, Las Piñas, Valenzuela, Muntinlupa, Navotas, Malabon, Makati, and parts of Quezon City. The Philippine peso strengthened against the dollar and yen despite the global economy weakening due to the coronavirus pandemic. International human rights lawyer Amal Clooney urges Filipino tycoons and business leaders to protect the press in the Philippines to ensure a functioning democracy. Clooney is among the international lawyers of Rappler CEO Maria Ressa and the speaker at the 18th Management Association of the Philippines International CEO Web Conference on Tuesday, September 15.
If you want to have a functioning democracy, protect the press. To protect the press, don't imprison journalists for their work. And do honor international treaties that the Philippines has itself played a part in drafting.
In her speech, Clooney criticized the Philippine government over the cyber libel conviction of Ressa and former Rappler researcher Ray Santos Jr.
Defenders of the judgment have claimed this is just a private dispute between a journalist and the person whose reputation was harmed by the story. But this is not correct. It was a criminal prosecution brought by the Department of Justice. The state advocated for a conviction and a term of imprisonment. It is now defending the judgment and is expected to oppose the appeal. So this is the government's case, their choice, and their legacy.
She also highlighted presidential spokesperson Harry Roque's 180-degree turn on the issue of cyber libel. Roque defended the conviction of Ressa and Santos, but in a 2012 Rappler opinion piece, he heavily criticized the cybercrime law.
In an op-ed he penned in 2012, the spokesman argues that the cyber libel law used to convict Maria is, quote, draconian, quote, infringes freedom of expression, and shows that the government is, quote, insecure and unable to compete in the marketplace of ideas. And he concluded in the op-ed that imposing criminal penalties for libel was, quote, disproportionate and, quote, an outright defiance of the UN ruling in the Adonis case that the Philippines is, quote, under an obligation to heed.
A post claims Johns Hopkins University released an advisory about COVID-19, with 17 bullet points about coronavirus and how to prevent it. This is false. Johns Hopkins University did not release the list. Some details mentioned in the list are also inaccurate. As of writing, posts have at least 1,500 shares, 1,200 reactions, and 150 comments. In a report on April 4, Johns Hopkins University said the circulating message has no identifiable connection to the medical facility and that it lacks credibility. Johns Hopkins also advised readers to always go to its official channels to find reliable information about COVID-19. Among the inaccurate claims listed is, Listerine mouthwash contains 65% alcohol. On the company's official website, it says no Listerine product can kill the virus that causes COVID-19. It adds, the mouthwash is not intended to be used as a hand sanitizer or disinfectant. The list also claims, the novel coronavirus, quote, needs moisture and darkness to stay stable. But the World Health Organization earlier said, evidence so far shows the virus can be transmitted in all areas regardless of climate. In March, fact-checking website Snopes labeled the same list as misattributed.